First, fast, accurate. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 11.
Well, Bernie Sanders needs a win in Indiana, and just into our newsroom, the campaign has announced a stop in South Bend on Sunday afternoon at the Century Center. It'll be his first trip to the area. Sanders will discuss getting big money out of politics, combating climate change, and ensuring universal health care. Now, the event is free and open to the public on a first-come, first-served basis. Donald Trump has been making stops around Indiana, and on the night before the primary, he will also make a stop in South Bend. Late this afternoon, his campaign's website announcing the stop at the Century Center for 7 o'clock on Monday night. This will be the campaign's first stop in our area. You can find tickets for that event on his website. Now, Trump's visit will continue campaigns traveling around the state. On this map, you can see other candidates are also campaigning hard in Indiana. Chelsea and Bill Clinton will be campaigning around the state tomorrow and Saturday for Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton. And Senator Ted Cruz will be in LaPorte on Sunday evening. Cruz also in South Bend today at a big rally at the Century Center downtown. WSBT-22's Patrick Roth was at that rally. He's at the live desk now, and Patrick, Cruz needs to win Indiana to stay alive.
Yeah, Rick, he said the country's at the edge of a cliff looking downwards, but it's the common sense of Hoosiers that stand between the cliff and going over. Now, that's certainly a dramatic scenario, but every supporter there that I spoke to said pretty much the same thing. There was certainly no shortage of enthusiasm for Ted Cruz at the Century Center.
He's an amazing man. He's the closest thing we've had to Ronald Reagan.
Ted's the real conservative. Trump's all over the map.
Behind that support is an unmistakable sense of concern.
If he wins Indiana, he's got a shot at getting into the convention without Trump getting the majority. If he loses Indiana, it looks pretty bad. So this is it.
I hope that Indiana and the rest of the country wakes up before we lose this guy, because he's awesome.
That sense of anxiety is something that Cruz himself acknowledged in his speech.
And it is the common sense and good judgment of the Hoosier state that is the one thing that stands between us and plunging over the cliff.
I'm originally from Indiana, and the whole country is looking to Indiana, and it's that important that I thought I would come up here and maybe talk to some people, make an impact.
Cruz has pulled out all the stops to try to make himself more appealing to voters in Indiana and for the general election. For some undecided voters here, who weren't exactly sold on Cruz or a sense of inclusion.
Not particularly, no. But I don't think his rhetoric is something that makes us feel left out. I just don't think it's inclusive.
For now, at least, the goal for Cruz and his supporters is to do everything they can to unite the voters in Indiana.
If we unite, if we continue to come together, we're going to win the Republican nomination. And if we continue to unite America, we're going to win the general election. We're going to beat Hillary Clinton, and we're going to turn this country around.
Now, this is certainly not the last stop for Cruz. He'll be in LaPorte on Sunday, and right now polls show a very, very, very close race between him and Donald Trump. The election website 538 gives Cruz a slight edge over Trump. At the live desk, Patrick Roth, WSBT 22 News.
All right, Patrick, thank you. Now, Cruz and Carly Fiorina also met with supporters earlier in Elkhart this afternoon. They stopped at Lucchese's Italian restaurant and were greeted by a large group of supporters. Many people waited hours just to see them. They spent more than an hour greeting everyone.
I head off today, and I heard that Ted Cruz was going to be here in the area, and I'm trying to make my decision on the best candidate, and I wanted to make sure that I got the best perspective, and for him to come out to Elkhart to see how people are working, and that's just great.
Now, anti-Cruz protesters were out in downtown South Bend during the rally. The group mainly consisted of Bernie Sanders supporters. They said they wanted to get the Bernie awareness out. One protester says he doesn't like the way Cruz talks.
I hate to say it, but the way he talks is a well-trained manipulation thing, where the way he stands as, it's a bit of a preacher thing, which when a preacher is preaching like that, that's just fine. That's a great way to preach. But when you're talking to the masses, probably not.
Their hope was for people to see that there was another candidate that they should